Bismillah. All right, guys, welcome to another live with Fahd Dawood. We're going to be talking about real estate, generally speaking, for investors, people who are interested in the Dubai market, so to speak. And we're going to be taking live questions as well, both from Instagram and YouTube. If you have a question, you can ask me. If you've got, not a question, but you just say hi, love your content, so on and so forth, I'm happy to hear that as well. So welcoming everybody else, everybody who's here on the live. Sometimes I can see your name, sometimes I can't, but I want to welcome you with your names. Okay, so Dekani, welcome. Ahmed, welcome. Akash, welcome. Siddiq, welcome. Anas, Evo, Emu, welcome. Fazil, welcome. Naeem Majid, welcome. Welcome. All right, guys, listen, check this out. All right, so I'm going to take some questions that I have. Amir Realty, okay, welcome. Thank you for the heart. What I want to do is I want to take some questions from here, but today I'm going to also be talking about personal branding for agents. A few tips, not a lot of information, but just a few tips to guide you guys into the right direction. All right, but let's take some investor questions first. Okay, so I've got some questions over here that I want to take on, and if you guys join here and you want to ask questions, then you can either on Instagram or on YouTube. I'd be more than happy to take your questions on, all right, as best as possible. So welcome everybody else who's joined. Uda, thanks for the heart. Anna 3022, Harpreet Skyan, Alfaz. All right, guys, let's get right into this. Okay, so I've got a question from Vipul Pasari 2405, and he asks me, what do you think about Imperial Avenue downtown? Okay, let's do a little breakdown and let's go through a little bit of a process driven approach on trying to evaluate this. Okay, now you will notice that I'm not going to walk away recommending this to you or not recommending this to you, but I'm going to do a lot of process driven evaluation so that you can understand the process and then you can apply this to yourself. Okay, so the first thing, if somebody asks me this question, one of the first things we would ask them is, where are you with your real estate cycle? Where are you looking to get in? What are you looking to get in for? So on and so forth, right? So when it comes to recommending a development to an investor, we need to understand where you are coming from, what your goals are. How can we help you build your portfolio out, right, in an ethical, transparent, profitable way? That's number one. Number two, after we've understood you, we're going to do a quick strategy roundup, perhaps create a strategy document for you, and then we get into evaluating different properties. Now, let's say that you were looking for downtown to invest in or to buy a property for yourself and your family, and you wanted to look at Imperial Avenue downtown. One of the things that we would look at the developer's reputation, or the person who's actually doing the development. Okay, so Imperial Avenue, just to give you a little bit of a background on this, is related. Is the developer is actually a very large contracting company. Now, in Dubai, when we use the word contracting, it means a builder, somebody who does the actual building for the developers. They've got over a century of experience. I think it's 150 years or 200 years, and they've done a lot of work globally. India, Dubai, across the Middle East, and I think some other global countries as well. So from a construction perspective, they know what they're doing, and they've done a lot of construction in Dubai as well for the top name developers like Emaar, Dubai Properties, so on and so forth. So that gives you a little bit of a background on the contractor or the builder. That does not always translate into a good developer. A developer is different. Like, notice the difference, okay? Emaar is a developer, okay? Is not a contractor. Emaar conceives and conceptualizes great developments, communities, villas, and then offers a contractor to build that project for them. So this situation, Imperial Avenue, is being developed by somebody who's already a contractor. See the difference? Now, it can go in a very good way, sometimes not a great way, right? It depends on how the execution takes place. So Imperial Avenue is being developed by a company that has a very long history of a lot of good contractual work that they've done for other large developers. So that gives you some confidence, like, okay, they're very good, so on and so forth. But development is a little bit of a different animal, okay? Because development, you've got to have market studies, understand what's available, understand what you're going to build, understand the amenities that you're going to give, so on and so forth. Now, that's the development and the contractor side, okay? From a location perspective, it's ideal. It's in a very large, good located plot. It allows, so where they are in downtown is right between downtown and Business Bay. Now, if you're in the heart of downtown, then you know that a couple of days every year, especially during Eid and New Year's Eve, you're going to be it's going to be traffic turmoil, so on and so forth, which is not a bad deal. But this one, because of its location, not only overlooks downtown, has close proximity to Dubai Mall, Burj Khalifa, but it allows for easier access for the road flows. The road flows open into Business Bay as well. So the developer is good, the location is good. Now let's look at the actual houses or the apartments that they're building. They're building a more like an end user building, okay? So if you're looking as an investor to live in these apartments, these penthouses, these glamorous houses, apartments that you might call home, it ticks the boxes. The rooms are big. The material being used is very good. Everything above the 25th floor has marble, like so on and so forth, right? Now, one thing that I would make a point to for you is that this building, when it was launched, it's gone through, like, obviously the pandemic, and I think that the developer had a very staggered sales approach. Like, they weren't selling super fast all the apartments, which in the end has resulted in the inventory still being sold in the market. It's still available, right? Some parts, I think they're almost sold out on one side and the other side is still available, and so on and so forth. So all in all, I personally think it's a good building. It was delayed, but they're coming together now. And I think, personally speaking, the pandemic, obviously everything got delayed because of the pandemic, about 2 years and so on and so forth. But I think that also one of the things that prolonged their sales strategy was that internal sales strategy was, Imar likes to launch and sell out and move on to the next project, whereas these guys were more stable and steady with their sales, which actually resulted in slower sales. That's just my opinion, and I could be wrong, so disclaimer there. All right, guys, welcome everybody else who's joined in. Alfaz, Ajay, Sully, Hashish Suran, Saad Sadi, Harpreet asks, sorry to write in between, I just want to know, is it related for job opportunities? Well, you can always apply. There are links in Instagram and on what do you call this, on Instagram and otherwise as well, and so you can always apply. Okay. Musima, Nadar, Afaq, Qureshi, Aravind, sir, even I want to know about the job opportunity. You can always apply. There is a link. You can apply for jobs if there's any vacancies and so on and so forth. The team will get back to you. Mujibur Rahman, thank you for joining in. Nuruddin, Rahul, Sumer, Manzar, Said Shek. Okay, everybody is joined in. Thank you very much, guys. All right. Shall we take another question, or let's talk about personal branding so that we can, give you guys a little bit on personal branding as well. So I want to actually help agents with their personal branding, okay? And what you guys can do and how you might how you might go about this. Okay, you know what? I answer the questions first. What do you think? Yeah, is it a good thing to do? Answer the questions first, all of them, or middle? Yes. Okay, middle. Okay, the team says middle. Okay, so let's talk about branding, guys. Okay, guys. First of all, if you're a realtor and you want to build your personal brand, first of all, understand that as a realtor, you are in business, right? So I hope that makes sense. The boards are still open for any questions that you might have, real estate related or as an agent, okay? So one of the things that you might want to understand is that you guys are in business. What does a business generally do, guys? What does a business generally do? a business has to look at a lot of things, right? Marketing, sales, finance, HR. Let's today just talk on the marketing side, okay? One of the things that a good business would always look at is they would look to create a brand, okay? Now, we've got to step back. Bilal, Assalamu alaikum, walaikum assalam. Fahd bhai, I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much. I'm doing well. I hope you're also doing well. Let's step back and go back to the basics. So if I tell you, I'm going to help you and guide you to build your brand. Listen, let me take you a little bit, few steps back and give you like some actual actionable items that you can take from this live that you can start implementing, okay? So when you think about a brand, what do you understand? So I'd love to hear from the comments, especially if there's realtors there or YouTube or Instagram. When I say brand, what do you understand? Just so that I understand where. Okay, so that's a good question, Samir. I will come to this. I want to understand what is a brand in your opinion? Anybody, everybody. Just type out whatever answer you think makes sense over there. Okay, we'll take a question in the meantime. Samir Singrexwal asks, how much business do you receive from online platforms versus your offline channels and network? Look, let me understand where you're coming from on this question. Are you somebody who's looking to start online and just trying to weigh the pros and cons and just look at offline channels? Is that what you're looking to do? Right? Omer 1896. Okay, assalamu alaikum. Talk quality is known worldwide. Okay, that's I think he's trying to answer about the brand. Okay, thank you for that answer. Arvind, what is the main thing that a real estate professional should remember while approaching a client? Okay, good question. I'll come to your question, Arvind. Let me please answer Samir's question first. How much business do you receive from online platforms versus your offline channels and network? Okay, Samir, you said, I want to weigh where shall I focus more, online or offline? Good question. And I kind of understood that this is where you're coming from. Here's the deal, okay? Here's the thing. Let's just go back and imagine you're producing cameras. You're Sony, okay? So you produce cameras that just make sense. People should buy them and they just are great, okay? Let's not, for a minute, just forget that there's iPhones and phones that you can use a camera and everything. Just imagine that you have a camera brand or camera that you're selling, okay? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to look at many avenues to sell that camera. So let's say you take the UAE, Dubai as an instance. You're going to have a showroom, right? So that people can actually walk in, okay? I'm taking you a little bit back to simplify things. So you're going to think, okay, people should be able to walk into the showroom and see what the camera is like, experience it, and buy it. The showroom board itself is going to be part of telling the people that Sony cameras are sold over here, right? Perhaps you will run some advertisements in the newspaper. I'm taking you guys way back, right? When newspapers used to be relevant. Like, are newspapers relevant today? Kind of. Like, the kids are in the room. They've not seen newspapers, actually, maybe. Right? Printed newspapers, right? So now, you would put some advertisements in the newspapers. You would have the showroom board. You would actually... Also, your salespeople, anybody who walks into the showroom and you sell them a camera, your salespeople would tell their people, hey, if you bring a friend and they buy a camera, we'll give you a camera bag for free, for example. So you'll use the referral network as well. You'll use the newspaper. And imagine there's no social media, okay? It's the television, right? Everybody sits at the 10 p.m. dinner to watch television. You're going to run some ads on the TV of how great a Sony camera is. Try to take that same approach to your real estate business. It's no different, okay? Now, if you were selling Sony cameras, you'd be thinking, okay, I have this budget for the showroom. I have this much time I can I have this much money I can put on newspaper ads. I have this much money I can put on bus ads. Then the TV ads, I can put this much money, let's say a couple of million dirhams. But all of that is going to come together to generate business for you. Some work more for you, some work less for you. But you might not ignore them. You might choose to not do them based on your budget capacity or your time capacity, but you won't ignore them. So would TV advertisements work for you? Yes, they would work for you. Would newspaper ads work for you? Yes, they would work to bring in business. Would referrals and networks work for you? They would work for you. You'd be smart to think, okay, maybe I can't run 3 ads a week. Maybe I'll run 1 ad and see the result. Social media is free TV for you for today. Okay. Now, there is no guarantee that that 1 ad or 3 ad or 10 ads that you run are going to bring in customers. Maybe the ad is poor quality. Maybe the pricing's not correct. Maybe the time is not correct. But you might figure out a way that that works. Okay. But you're not going to ignore it. You will make it part of your strategy. And obviously, you will go back to where you are and think, okay, let's say you have time, right? Let's say you have 48 hours in a day, right? Maybe you have 72 hours in a day because you're super productive. So you're going to think about, okay, I'll put 5 hours in meeting people, networking, generating business from there. And I'll put about 3 hours on social media and see how it works, right? But you would not completely ignore it. If you're not getting results, then you've not been there deep enough, or you're not doing it right, which is not a big deal. Nobody's figured it out. Nobody knows the exact perfect way. Everybody's doing their best, and you shall, inshallah, succeed. Hopefully, I've answered that question in a very long way. And if you want a clarification, just ask me. If there's no other questions, I will take your questions. Okay, I've got people answering here. Omer, you said top quality is known worldwide. Good. Faisal, Revo, brand is equal to trust and loyalty. Yes, okay. Sadshek, a brand is identity, trust, recognition, reputation, perception. Welcome everybody else who's joined in. Guys, you're all correct to an extent, right? Brand, and if I was to take all what you've said, trust, loyalty, so on and so forth, a brand equals a promise, okay? Because, look, there is no such thing as a brand, right? Like, so for instance, if somebody's selling if you're selling an app, a phone, let's say your brand is called XYZ, people come and they buy your phone and you give them a phone, right? Brand isn't a physical thing, yet it carries a lot of weight and a lot of value, because a brand is a promise in the buyer or the consumer's mind that you have communicated over many years or a few years or a few months of what that product's going to deliver. Okay, so the brand is a promise that you will deliver on something, or that product will deliver on something. And if I say to you Coca-Cola, okay, the branding of Coca-Cola, it's either fun times always, or it's easily available, or you might actually perceive it to be not a great drink, or so on and so forth, right? If I say Apple, then you might think in your mind, if you're in the Apple camp, Apple as in iPhone and so on and so forth, you might think, hey, they're great designed products. Or if you're in the other side, you might say, oh, not a great spending of money, right? So a brand is a promise. Now, if you're an agent who's trying to develop his or her brand, then I ask you, what is the promise that your name or mention of your name carries to the people, or carries to the client, or the company you work for carries to the client, in terms of what they can expect what they expect in their mind to receive from you. So we go to the basics. We understand that you've got to understand what brand is. Brand is simply a promise, what you will deliver to a client, okay? It's not the actual product. It's not the actual service. But branding means that the person knows in advance what you're going to deliver to them. Now we go step second. You, okay? Write this down if you want to. What do you represent? Do you represent trust, expert advice, service? What do you come across as? Right? It's a question for you, right? I gotta be honest with you. Like, if you are a realtor, and I've got nothing against realtors wearing jeans, because some do, but you convey a certain image when you're wearing jeans, right? So if you're wearing jeans and you're supposed to be a professional realtor, which is fine. Some people wear jeans and that's fine. Some jeans I know are like 10,000 dirhams and 20,000 dirhams. They're like super expensive designer jeans, and that's fine. But I've got a question for you. Like, if you show up for a meeting as a realtor wearing jeans, that's fine. What value do you convey to your potential client? You got to think about that. And if you're fine with that, because you are portraying a fun brand that you're easy to get along with, perhaps, and you will still deliver on the promise of service and quality and so on and so forth, then that's fine. Who am I to tell you, right? Because Apple's a certain way, Coca-Cola is a certain way as a brand, and then there's a lot of other products out there that are a certain way. So who am I to dictate what brand you want to create or should create? That's your choice. You're going to think about what brand you're going to be communicating or the values you're going to be communicating to your end client, right? Does that make sense? Hopefully it does, all right? So, now that you understand what a brand is, think about what and who you are and what you communicate to the people, right? Everybody, I think all the realtors over here would have like Instagram pages and so on and so forth. So what do you communicate? Now you go to start developing your brand, okay? Don't just jump. My ideal recommendation to you would be to go to an online platform like Udemy, pick up a very small course. It might cost you like $15, $20, $30 on personal branding as a realtor, right? It could be a 2-3 day course, like simple, like I'm sure you've got $15, $20 to spend. Very, very simple to do. Pick up that course and do that course. So my suggestion, guys, listen, a lot of people, may Allah bless you all, may Allah bless us all, give us all success. A lot of times you'll think about brand and you'll see, okay, that agent's doing this, and you'll think that's branding, and I should brand myself. So let's say if he calls himself Mr. Palm Jumeirah, I'll call myself Mr. Business Bay, and boom, you go into the market, change your name on Instagram, call yourself Mr. Business Bay or Mr. Dubai Hills, and you think, okay, this is now going to start conveying my brand value. No, that's one thing that you can choose to do. My suggestion is don't just jump to what you want to do immediately, rather step back a little bit and then start with a simple course like Udemy, and then start taking small steps, 1, 2, 3. Perhaps one of the things you might do is you might think about, hey, you know what, I gotta upgrade my wardrobe, man. And I'm just saying, like, that could be one of the things. Maybe you say, hey, I gotta downgrade my wardrobe, right? Like, I don't know, maybe if you're like working in a really fun area in the hotel segment or the party segment, maybe you gotta downgrade your wardrobe, right? Maybe wearing a suit in that environment just isn't what your clients are looking for, right? Perhaps you are communicating. I'm just saying this. Perhaps you are a non-English speaker, but you communicate with a lot of English speakers, and your English or the language that they speak is not coming across well. Go and take some language classes. Like, guys, build your value within you, keeping in mind that this is the image, this is the promise that I want to portray to the end users, to the people, right? And that's how you go, guys. So understand that your brand is your promise that you are going to deliver on this. Okay, this is a reminder from me as well as for you guys. And then think and step back and understand, what do you deliver? What do people recognize you as? And then you start from there and start learning about how to brand yourself and start building yourself, right? I've given you guys one thing around clothing and so on and so forth. So let's do a few questions from the live session over here. Okay, guys, I've got some questions here. Arvind asks, what is the main thing that a real estate professional should remember while approaching a client? Good question. I'm gonna answer this, Arvind. I hope you're still around. Give me a like or a hello to know that you're still around. Do you know what's the one main thing when you guys approach a client, we approach a client, is to actually understand the client, okay? Oh, bless you. The moment a lot of realtors, now this is realtors who've got 10 years of experience, and a few years of experience. Bless you all. The moment you guys sometimes approach a client is you want to almost always fit that client into the box that you have, right? If the client is a square, you want to fit him through the circle peg. If he's a triangle, you want to fit him through the circle peg. If he is a rectangle, you want to fit him through the circle peg. What ends up happening is a client that's a circle and fits through, you succeed on that and you feel like this approach is great. The approach that I encourage with is, listen, when you go in, spend time to understand the client. That's your main thing. When you approach the client, your first job is to understand the client, understand where they're coming from. Now, I understand that some of you might not be able to do this starting out. The reason is sometimes you're not talking the client's language. You're not at that level. Like if a CEO who's bought 100 properties and you've just sold about 3 properties in life, the moment you approach him, they can obviously understand that you don't have enough experience to be able to cater to their requirements, to understand them very fast. But that's okay. You still need to go and understand. Nobody's saying you can't do business with this person. You'll still be able to do business. The first thing when you go there is to understand and ask questions to the client. How do you ask questions? Do we have like a buyer consultation and investor consultation available for sale? Download it. Check and tell the team. Put it online, put it for cheap, put it for expensive, whatever. Download that and use that as a template to ask questions. All right, guys? All right. Most of the clients ask about the life of the building in Dubai and what happens to their investment and project once the life is matured. And is there any written rule from DLD regarding this? This is Vicky Vakas. There is no, from the best of my knowledge, I don't have a written rule. I don't know what it is. The thing is, my personal opinion, like, I don't know. Buildings in the UK are 400 years old, 500 years old. I don't know. They were built with limestone or stone or whatever the case is. In Dubai, I think buildings might run up to like 30 years to 40 years and then might get refurbished and then might run up to 77 years and so on and so forth. What I think, like in freehold, you don't just own the apartment, but you also own the land at the bottom. What I think might happen at that stage after 70 years, 60 years, 80 years, if the building needs to be torn down or so on and so forth, I think what might end up happening is when if the building's torn down, you still own part of the land, and if it's rebuilt, you will still get an apartment. Somehow the extra building cost will be paid for. I have some ideas on how that might be done. I don't know. I don't want to share them over here right now today because it'll just take time. But explain to them, tell them like, listen, generally speaking, a building might run for about 30, 40 years, get refurbished, then run for a few more. Like this refurbishment can take like 6, 7 cycles, right? We don't know. And then we'll see, because at that stage, I'm sure that there will be pertinent regulation with regards to that. All right. I've got another question. Sadiq Shah. How can one strategically plan their journey as a real estate agent, starting from the beginning and eventually positioning as a specialist for clients? So yeah, you can. There's 3 things that you should be figuring out. Okay. Number 1, fix your life. Okay. If you're having issues in your life, then that's a problem, whether you're an agent or you're an employee anywhere. So there's 3 pillars that I always talk. I've recently started talking about this. Maybe we'll make a video on this. 3 pillars, okay? Your life. Make sure make sure your life is in good standing, okay? Which means, if you're a son, you're a daughter, you're a husband, you're a wife, so on and so forth. Assalamu alaikum Rawal. Make sure that that is in its proper place, right? Because that's going to really interrupt your work. Secondly, you've got to understand the process of how real estate works in Dubai. Understand the process of renting a property, understand the process of selling a property, understand the process of selling a resale property, understand the process of selling an off-plan property, understand the process of working with a client. How do you start understanding their needs and help them? And then the third pillar is have and get real estate knowledge in the Dubai market. Now, some of you guys are going to be getting real estate knowledge only from one source or one area, and you'll ignore everything else. My suggestion is try to be a little broad in the beginning and try to get knowledge of different areas of Dubai. Like, I don't know, like if a doctor is a neuro specialist, for sure, he could answer general questions as well, right? He might be a neuro specialist and specializes in the brain and fixes people's brains, but he's for sure going to be able to answer general questions because that's the journey. So how do you become a specialist without doing general information? So you still have to do that. So fix these three things: life, processes of how real estate operates in Dubai, and then knowledge and expertise. Grow this, and right in the middle, your job is to continue to generate leads and manage those leads in a way that they end up closing. If you reach 50% optimum capacity in these three areas, you're going to be okay. You can move towards specializing in it anyway, okay? Cool. So somebody asks me a question. Let's answer some questions here. Without Motive 3796 asks, what's your opinion of student accommodation in Dubai as an untapped market? I have no opinion. I'm neutral. It's been done before in the Dubai market. Try to check out what's been done and how things have performed. We do have universities over here. A lot of students tend to rent in the regular population, but there's no reason that student accommodation shouldn't do well if it's servicing the universities and so on and so on. What is the ratio of students in Dubai living with their parents versus students in hostels? Good question. I don't know. I can't really answer that. I'm very sorry about that. But there are a lot of international students, and I think it's going to only continue to increase. There's a lot of international students that end up coming over here. So from Nigeria, from India, from Pakistan, from all over the place, from Russia, or some of the CIS countries. So I'm sure that there would be a lot that are ended up living in either hostels or otherwise. What is the supply and cost of university managed accommodation like? Is it affordable for students? Well, Dubai accommodations aren't generally cheap, so I don't think it would be like affordable. But I'm sure like London, Dubai, there would be a model to be able to make money off this. You just have to do it really seriously. Like you have to do the study, the feasibility, and so on and so forth, and then it'll make sense. Tom32336 asks, what are the current rules regarding investors' visas? Is 750,000 still valid? Yes, it is. Okay. I want to invest in Dubai property. This is Miss Parek asks, I want to invest in Dubai property plus want to set up Airbnb. Please guide me, process, and help me to make decisions. Sure. What you should do, Miss Parek, is sign up and fill up our form. There is a link below our YouTube videos and Instagram. Just fill up the form and sign up. And what will happen then is we will then be able to, in a very good way, step by step, explain to you our services. And also beyond our services, we will be able to guide you on how to select good properties and so on and so forth. Let's take a live question. Like Islam. Wais, you're live on YouTube. Do you have a real estate question?
No, bro. I have a question for you as a brother.
I'll call you back then.
It's urgent. Omar called me.
Let me call you back, bro.
Bye.
Because I'm live on YouTube. You got a real estate question?
MashaAllah, may Allah bless you. Can a real estate broker get a second wife?
Can a real
How
estate
much
broker?
does he have to earn?
A real estate broker?
Yeah.
How much does he have to earn where?
In commissions to get a second.
To get a what?
To get a second wife.
I don't know about that, man. That's off topic.
Okay.
All right,
How is
okay.
it off topic? It's a real estate question.
You can ask me, how much does a real estate broker, how
Need
much
to
should
make
he
in
make
commissions.
to be able to live a comfortable life in Dubai? I think real estate brokers. Okay, here's my answer to this. Most real estate brokers, right, generally speaking, now I'm talking about the 80 to 90% of real estate brokers could walk in and work in any company or any retail environment and make between 5 to 10,000 dirhams as salaries. I think so.
5 to 10. That's gross. Or
No. I'm saying that most people who come into real estate in Dubai could end up going and working in another environment, either in McDonald's or retail or sales or offices, and make between 5 to 10,000 dirhams, right?
Right.
So if you coming into real estate where you're not going to get paid a salary, you are not looking to make 5 to 10,000 dirhams. You're looking to maybe live a life of your dream. And if you're at the 10,000 spot, you're looking to make at least 20,000. If you're making 20,000, you're looking to make 40,000. If you're making already 40,000, when you're coming in this industry, you're looking to make at least 80,000. So I don't want to say sky's the limit, but it is. Sky is the limit, but you're coming into real estate trying to make more money.
Right.
That's the bottom line. I'll call you back.
Client. Yeah, okay. I see.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye. All right, so that's a live question. This guy's been in the market for a long, long time. I thought he'd had a real question to ask me, but okay, he asked me a question. All right, guys. Okay, so Naveen Shankar says, guys, all he says is promotion. He said that he would take interview or submit resume and never responds even if we contact in all mediums. Oh, guy, Naveen, maybe you're looking to actually work with us. Here's the thing, guys. I welcome people to apply. Please do understand that there is a team that filters your applications, takes you to the next round. Sometimes they're hiring. Sometimes they've already filled up the spots. So please don't feel bad. You've just got to try and take it on the chin. Like, sometimes they're looking to hire. Sometimes you might be a very great candidate. Sometimes you might be a very good candidate, so on and so forth. So don't take it personally. And I apologize for you feeling like this. Hopefully you can send your CV again, and I'll tell the people to actually look at your CV and see if you qualify, so on and so forth. Guys, I'll tell you, just to let you know, people we're looking for are people who either have experience in Dubai, are looking or have experience in related industries, have driving license, are willing to learn, so on and so forth, guys. Yeah, makes sense? Okay. Fazil Revo, what would you suggest a client who's having a budget of 1 million AED for investment? Good question, Fazil. You got to understand what they're looking to do, right? This is very easy to answer when you actually look at the clients and their requirements and where they're coming from. Some people, let's say this client wants to make 30% return in 2 years or 3 years. You're going to have to be more aggressive with them and perhaps go to one of those new waterfront developments that are coming up in the hope that they can make more money on the flip side, right? So they can sell. Perhaps they're very conservative and they're telling you, like, all I want is to invest my money and just wait for 10 years. I don't want to resell it, but I want liquidity, which means I want to be able to resell this, whatever unit that I'm buying, within 2 months or 3 months. So you might stick to like the business bay environment or the place where things are already developed, right? Or maybe this client tells you, like, listen, I just want extreme good rental income. You might consider JVC, so on and so forth. Guys, welcome everybody who's joined. Ayman, Amin, 91, Story, Naveen Chuk. So Fazil, I hope I've answered your question. So it's not like, hey, where would I invest? Where would I tell the person to invest? Because there's a few good investment opportunities that are coming up. Which one's right for this person? You've got to really think about, right? So, for instance, there's a new development coming on Sheikh Zayed Road by a very, very known developer. But that developer is known to do like maybe 700 to 1,000 apartments in that building. And now if you do that, bless you, you might end up not being able to resell super fast, right? Last question I'm going to take, and then we'll break up for the day. Hey there. Hi, Fahd. Hope you're doing well. What do you think about real estate market in Dubai? It's a good market. It's a maturing market. We're 23 years old. We're still not like an old market. So there is still a lot of benefits to be had in the real estate market. So please check out some of my other videos and you'll know exactly what I think. So this question is from H about the real estate market. All right. Fahd Sayed. Hi, Fahd. A thoroughly engaging live session with so many leading real estate companies hiring right now. What makes FD Global Property stand out from the rest? Well, Fahd, I'll tell you one thing. With all the companies that are hiring, so on and so forth, it's not about what makes us stand out. What you have to rather think about is what makes you or them be the right fit for you. That's what you're looking for, okay? We're definitely big, good, amazing, good training program, good mentorship, so on and so forth. But we're not the right fit for everybody, right? We know this, right? And the agents who come to work with us or the advisors who come to work with us, they know this as well. They're either looking to learn the market, learn and then earn. or they're looking to actually get good mentorship, good training, so on and so forth. For some people, we're a good fit. For some people, we're not a good fit. So the question isn't about, hey, what makes you guys so great? The question is, what makes us very good for you? And maybe we're not very good for you. So you've got to know what company, when you end up joining, is good for you. The few basics that you should be looking at is the company should have stability. The company should have good leadership and management in place. They should have good training programs and mentorship to help and guide you, so on and so forth. All right. All right, guys, let's wrap up this live for today. And if you've got questions, you can always put them in the comment section. Fahd, yes, thank you. Great answer. I appreciate your question as well. And, keep your questions coming in. If we don't take them on the live, then what we would do is we would always take them on. Sometimes we make videos on your questions as well if they're really, really long and we need to make a video. All right. Toher back, Borno. Hi, everybody. We're just ending our live. It's been almost 1 hour or a little bit more, a little bit less. Catch you guys on the next time. Stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram and you'll know when the next live is coming. Guys, there will be links below if you want to apply, you want to buy the book, you want to buy a property. You can click the link, fill up the form, and get in touch. All right. Thank you again for keeping this engaging. I really appreciate talking to you guys, and see you guys next time. Ciao for now. Bye.